This segment is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke. Know your rights.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And listen, guys, I got to tell you, I'm very excited about the work that's always done with law enforcement, but always very glad to welcome into the program Blake Tabor. Blake, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
We appreciate it. Of course, First Lieutenant Blake Tabor, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. What I was alluding to is the wonderful work that you guys have to do with such difficult situations. I gotta tell you, Blake, this one pisses me off. It just does. It should make everybody mad. And we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about it in this segment. We'll talk about it again later, but share with us, if you don't mind, about the arrest of this Galliano man with this multi-agency addressing of this child sex crime investigation.
Absolutely. So, as we talk about these all the time, I mean, these are all disturbing in their own right, but this one takes it to a different level. So on Friday, August 15th, basically we learned through a social media post from the Louisiana Attorney General's office that they had arrested a Bronson Billiot, who is a 52-year-old male a la Galliano. You see him photographed here. So when our SVU detectives observed this arrest on social media, they quickly realized that Bronson Billiot was the suspect of an ongoing investigation here in Terrebonne.
Yeah.
So immediately, our detectives began contacting other agencies. They made the Attorney General's office aware of what was going on. That investigation immediately took off. It wasn't like it waited for a day or a weekend. They immediately sprung into action, and they began dealing with the same multi-jurisdictional case. Okay. So ultimately, when our detectives began investigating this, our first victim ended up being a female who is in her 30s now, but was a victim of Bronson Billiot whenever she was 7 years of age, so some 20 years ago. That particular victim and abuse was taken to the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office because that particular abuse occurred in Lafourche Parish
jurisdiction.
So that interview that was completed with that victim, all that investigative information was given to Lafourche Parish, and again, that they sprung into action with that information.
Right.
As a result of that case, another victim came forward. He was a male victim who began to outline, obviously, a series of abuse that happened within the last 4 years, with Bronson Billiot being the suspect. The disturbing part of that particular investigation is they were able to substantiate that money was changing hands between Mr. Billiot and the juvenile victim in return for the services that the juvenile male was providing to Mr. Billiot, which is beyond belief in some stages, if I may say so myself. But ultimately, that particular case in Lafourche Parish culminated in a secondary search of his home in Galliano, which again revealed additional evidence of items such as toys and different investigative things that you'll see. And he'll face charges for those in Lafourche, as I understand it. But at this point, those charges have not come forward for Bronson Billiot. Ultimately, he is incarcerated on the Attorney General's charges in Lafourche Parish on a $450,000 bond. Our detective secured an arrest warrant for him for a multitude of charges, which included oral sexual battery and indecent behavior with a juvenile, and we have a $400,000 bond set on him at this point. Now, he is still in custody in Lafourche. Keep in mind, not only is he withstanding those charges at a state level, but he is also taking care of those in Lafourche. So he will be charged through the Lafourche investigation and then ultimately remanded to our custody where he'll face charges in Terrebonne. Again, the important thing that we want to get across with this is there is a strong likelihood that there are additional victims. Okay? Our hope is that because of this arrest, those victims will be brave enough to come forward now, and then that total aspect of the investigation will come forward.
Yeah, we're looking at $850,000 bonds right now collectively, and if more come forward, then that will be additional.
Absolutely.
Blake, thank y'all and SVU unit and collaboration. Thank you for getting this guy off the streets and harming our kids.
And look, and I'll tell you, the work that these detectives do. And look, I scream their names from the rooftops all the time, right? But what they do is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of great things with a lot of bad circumstances, and I think they should be applauded for that.
We appreciate that. On a little less intense note, but not short of stupidity, tell us about this boat and trailer that was stolen.
Sure, yeah. So look, this kind of came to a head on August 11th, where a fisherman from down in Montague had his boat hooked up to his truck, getting ready to go out fishing and earn a living the next day. During the course of the night, that particular truck and boat were stolen. Ultimately, they were able to link that particular truck, and they recovered that truck, ultimately in Lafourche Parish as well, another collaborated effort.
Right.
But we also identified a Logan Michael Olivier, 22 years of Houma, and a Nicholas Joseph Ordorn, 38 years of Thibodeau. You see them photographed here. Ultimately, they were identified and linked to the case.
Right.
Later during the course of that investigation, we were able to recover the stolen boat.
Good.
Through information from both suspects. So that was, a positive that they did to make amends for what they had took place. But, again, this is something we deal with all the time down the bayous, and it's not getting any better.
Right.
We're making a dent in it, but it's all about bad decisions, and it needs to stop.
And we need the help of people around us to kind of get these and bring these to justice.
And we're starting to see a community shift now, and I think this community is really starting to step up, and they're really tired of what's been happening.
Well, we appreciate it. Blake, thanks for all your reporting and all the good work.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. I got a lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke. Know your rights.